You think you know every classic Christmas special from the 1960s and 70s? Think again. While Charlie Brown and Rudolph play on endless repeat every December, dozens of beloved holiday specials from television's golden age have vanished into the vaults. Never remastered, never streaming, barely even remembered. Tonight, we're uncovering 25 Christmas shows from the 1960s and 70s that you can't watch anymore. No matter how hard you try, the Danny Kaye Show Christmas Special 1963. Let's start with one of the biggest holiday losses in television history. Before streaming killed variety shows, Danny Kaye hosted one of the most spectacular Christmas specials ever produced for CBS. This wasn't some low-budget affair. The network spared no expense, bringing in elaborate sets, full orchestras, and guest stars that read like a Hollywood who's who. The 1963 special aired during prime time on Christmas Eve, featuring Kaye's signature physical comedy, musical numbers with seasonal arrangements you'll never hear again, and sketches that had families across America laughing together. What made it appointment viewing was Kaye's genuine warmth. He treated Christmas specials like sacred trust, with his audience performing traditional carols one moment, then launching into comedy routines the next. The production values rivaled anything on Broadway, with choreographed dance numbers and that uniquely 1960s television magic where everything was live to tape today. This special sits in a vault somewhere, never remastered, never released. It's the Christmas special that defined an era, and you'll never see it again. The Bing Crosby Christmas Show, 1961. Before his famous duet with David Bowie, Bing Crosby produced annual Christmas specials that set the gold standard for holiday television. The 1961 special stands as the most heartbreaking loss filmed at the height of Crosby's career, featuring his family in their Hollywood home, creating the blueprint for every celebrity Christmas special that followed. ABC broadcast it once, and then it vanished. The special showcased Crosby's legendary voice performing lesser-known carols alongside classics, intimate moments with his wife and children decorating their tree, and guest appearances from old Hollywood royalty. What made it special was the genuine family atmosphere. This wasn't a soundstage pretending to be a home, but actual domestic holiday preparations captured on film. Crosby's warm baritone filling a real living room. Children actually excited about Christmas rather than reading cue cards, and that effortless mid-century elegance that defined American aspirations. The special captured a very specific moment in American culture: post-war prosperity, nuclear family ideals, Hollywood glamour meeting suburban comfort. Today, fragments exist in private collections, but the complete special remains locked away, a perfect time capsule you'll never experience. The Nat King Cole Christmas Special, 1964. Yeah, Nat King Cole's 1964 Christmas Special represents one of television's greatest tragedies, both culturally and historically significant, yet impossible to find. NBC gave Cole prime Christmas Eve placement, a recognition of his massive crossover appeal during an era of deep segregation. The special featured Cole's velvet voice performing holiday classics, backed by a full orchestra in elaborate studio sets designed to evoke winter wonderlands. But what made it groundbreaking was the guest list. Cole brought together black and white performers and integrated musical numbers that challenged television's unwritten rules. He performed duets with artists who'd never shared a screen before, creating moments of genuine cultural bridge building disguised as holiday entertainment. The production was lavish. NBC spared no expense on costumes, lighting, and arrangements that showcased Cole's artistry. His rendition of the Christmas song from this special reportedly surpassed even his famous recording. The special aired once, received tremendous ratings and then disappeared into NBC's vault. Rights issues, music clearances, and corporate indifference mean this piece of civil rights history masquerading as Christmas entertainment remains unseen. It's the special that proved integration could work on television and nobody can watch it. The Perry Como Kraft Music Hall Christmas, 1962. Perry Como owned Christmas television in the 1960s, but his 1962 Kraft Music Hall Christmas Spectacular stands as the lost masterpiece. Kraft Foods sponsored this lavish production, ensuring Hollywood-level budgets for sets that transform the studio into Victorian London, complete with artificial snow, gas lamp replicas, and Dickensian street scenes. Como, always the relaxed crooner, performed amid this elaborate scenery with his characteristic ease, making spectacle look effortless. The special featured full orchestral arrangements of carols you won't hear anymore, complex harmonies and instrumental passages that required actual musicians, not synthesizers. Guest performers included forgotten stars of early 60s music, creating moments of harmony that captured the era's sound. What set Como apart was his genuine everyman appeal. He wasn't Hollywood glamour or showbiz flash, but your neighbor who happened to sing beautifully. That relatability made families trust him with their Christmas Eve viewing. The special aired once on NBC, garnered massive ratings, and then disappeared. Kraft's sponsorship meant branding throughout. Product placements, commercial integration, and rights complications that now keep it locked away. It's the Christmas special that felt like visiting a friend's home, and it's gone forever. The Andy Williams Christmas Special, 1963. Andy Williams would become synonymous with Christmas television, but his 1963 NBC special, the first of what would become an annual tradition, remains frustratingly unavailable. This wasn't the polished, predictable Williams Christmas shows of later years. This was experimental, ambitious, and surprisingly edgy for early 60s holiday fare. NBC gave Williams creative freedom, resulting in elaborate production numbers, mixing traditional carols with jazz arrangements, comedy sketches that pushed boundaries of wholesome holiday content, and guest stars performing unexpected musical mashups. The special featured the Williams brothers performing together, creating harmonies that showcased the family's vocal DNA. Technical achievements were remarkable, multiple camera setups capturing choreographed movements, quick costume changes executed live to tape, and lighting effects that seemed magical in the pre-CGI era. Williams performed in various elaborate sets representing different Christmas traditions worldwide, from alpine villages to American suburbs, all built inside NBC studios. The special introduced Williams's signature Christmas sweater. That iconic fashion statement started here. What made it special was the sense of discovery. Williams was still establishing his Christmas brand, trying different approaches, taking risks. Later specials became formulaic, but this first one captured genuine creative exploration. It aired once, rated well, and vanished into NBC's vault, along with Williams's earliest Christmas vision. The Tennessee Ernie Ford Christmas Special, 1966. Tennessee Ernie Ford brought country warmth to network Christmas programming, and his 1966 ABC special represents a lost piece of American cultural crossover. Ford, known for 16 Tons, created a Christmas special that blended gospel, country, and traditional carols in ways networks rarely attempted. The special opened with Ford on a recreated southern front porch, complete with rocking chairs and sweet tea, immediately establishing a down-home atmosphere foreign to Hollywood Christmas productions. He performed traditional hymns with genuine religious conviction. This wasn't generic spirituality, but specific Protestant faith expressed through music. Guest performers included country legends who'd never appeared on network Christmas specials before, bringing authentic rural American traditions to prime time. The production mixed elaborate studio sets with documentary-style footage of real small-town Christmas celebrations in Tennessee, creating unusual juxtapositions between showbiz production and authentic tradition. Ford's baritone voice gave hymns and carols an earthy gravitas missing from more polished performers. He told stories between songs, personal anecdotes about Southern Christmases, family traditions, and faith practices that provided cultural education for urban audiences. The special aired once, bridging cultural divides in an increasingly fractured America. Today, it sits in vault limbo, neither valuable enough to restore nor forgotten enough to lose completely. The Judy Garland Christmas Show, 1963. Judy Garland's 1963 Christmas special aired during her legendary but troubled CBS variety show run, making it both brilliant and heartbreaking. This wasn't the triumphant Garland comeback everyone hoped for. By late 1963, behind-the-scenes chaos plagued the production, but what aired showed Garland's undeniable talent still shining through adversity. The special featured Garland performing Christmas classics with that distinctive vocal power and emotional vulnerability only she could deliver. She sang "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," the song she introduced in Meet Me in St. Louis, with layers of life experience that made the lyrics cut deeper. Guest performers included Mel Torme performing the Christmas song, creating a once-in-a-lifetime duet combining two of history's greatest voices. The production values were classic CBS, lavish sets, full orchestra, elaborate costuming that showcased early 60s glamour. But underneath the spectacle, you could sense Garland's struggle, the too bright smile, the slightly too energetic movements, the vulnerability that made her both captivating and concerning. The special aired once, received mixed reviews focusing on Garland's health rather than her artistry, and disappeared. CBS never reran it, and rights issues keep it locked away. It's a time capsule of talent battling demons wrapped in tinsel and studio lights. The Bob Hope Christmas Special, 1965. Bob Hope's 1965 Christmas special broke the mold by broadcasting from Vietnam, bringing holiday cheer to troops while creating television history. NBC's coverage showed Hope and his USO troop performing in combat zones, makeshift stages set up in jungles and military bases surrounded by young soldiers far from home. The special mixed comedy sketches, musical performances by starlets in revealing costumes that raised military morale, and Hope's rapid-fire jokes that roasted officers and politicians alike. What made it remarkable was the unscripted moments, soldiers' genuine reactions, emotional performances of carols in dangerous settings, and the stark contrast between holiday sentiment and war reality. Guest performers included Anita Bryant singing carols to troops who'd be in combat the next day, Joey Heatherton's dance numbers that became legendary among servicemen, and surprise appearances by military brass trying to seem relatable. The production quality was rough by network standards: handheld cameras, inconsistent sound, visible mud, and humidity affecting equipment, but that authenticity made it powerful. Hope's jokes landed differently when told to men facing mortality. The special aired once on Christmas Eve 1965, received massive ratings, and then disappeared. Military footage, rights issues, and politically sensitive content keep it locked away. It's the Christmas special that showed war's reality alongside holiday tradition, and you can't see it. The Dean Martin Christmas Special, 1967. Dean Martin's 1967 Christmas Special captured the Rat Pack era's last gasp of cool before counterculture changed everything NBC gave Martin prime placement. And he delivered a special that walked the line between traditional holiday fare and the hip, boozy persona that made him famous. The special opened with Martin in a tuxedo, drink in hand, crooning Christmas classics with that effortless swing style that made everything seem easy, but this wasn't your wholesome family. Christmas. Martin's humor edged toward adult sophistication, jokes about drinking and womanizing softened just enough for network standards. Guest stars included fellow Rat Pack members dropping by Martin's home, an elaborate set designed to look like a swinging bachelor pad decorated reluctantly for Christmas, creating impromptu feeling performances that were actually carefully choreographed. The musical arrangements blended traditional carols with Vegas-style jazz orchestrations, giving familiar songs unexpected swing. Martin performed with his trademark casual excellence, making difficult vocals sound unrehearsed while hitting every note perfectly. Comedy sketches featured Martin as a reluctant holiday participant dragged into Christmas spirit, reflecting changing American attitudes toward traditional celebrations. The special aired once, rated well with adults while confusing younger viewers expecting standard Christmas fare. NBC never reran it. Too edgy for family viewing, too tame for late night today, it remains in vault. A snapshot of sophisticated 1960s cool meeting ancient holiday traditions. The Jimmy Durante Christmas Special, 1966. Jimmy Durante's 1966 Christmas Special represented old vaudeville meeting television technology, creating something both dated and timeless. CBS gave the aging entertainer a Christmas showcase, and Durante delivered a performance style that hadn't changed since the 1920s. Huge physical comedy, mangled language, piano pounding, and that distinctive, gravelly voice. The special featured Durante performing in various elaborate sketches, each one a mini vaudeville routine adapted for television. He'd destroy piano after piano in fits of musical enthusiasm, tell rambling stories that somehow connected to Christmas, and perform carols with complete disregard for proper lyrics or melody. Guest performers included younger stars who treated Durante with reverence, creating intergenerational moments where 1960s talent met vaudeville legend. The production mixed Durante's vintage comedy style with modern television techniques, multiple camera angles capturing physical comedy, quick cuts during musical numbers, and elaborate sets that gave Durante space to perform. What made it special was Durante's genuine warmth. His comedy came from joy, not meanness, and his Christmas message of goodwill felt earned rather than scripted. The special featured Durante's signature sign-off, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are," delivered with extra sentiment for Christmas. It aired once, confused younger viewers who didn't understand vaudeville references, and disappeared. CBS never reran it, and Durante's estate keeps it tightly controlled. It's a time capsule of entertainment from another era, dressed in Christmas lights. A Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965. Now, before we continue into the deeper vault of lost specials, let's acknowledge the ones that survived and why they became the classics everyone remembers, while dozens of others vanished. Charles Schulz's A Charlie Brown Christmas almost didn't make it. CBS executives hated the jazz soundtrack, the biblical scripture reading, and the lack of laugh track. They wanted to cancel it before broadcast, expecting disaster. Instead, it became one of the most beloved Christmas specials in television history, still airing annually nearly 60 years later. What made it survive when others didn't? The special captured something authentic about childhood disappointment and hope that transcended its 1965 premiere. Schultz refused to compromise his vision. No laugh track, no celebrities, just children's voices and Vince Guaraldi's jazz-creating atmosphere unlike anything else on television. The story of Charlie Brown seeking Christmas meaning amid commercialism resonated across generations. Networks kept rerunning it because audiences demanded it, and that continuous broadcast kept it alive in cultural memory. Unlike the variety shows and star-studded specials that were products of their moment, Peanuts existed outside time. The animation was simple enough to age well, the message universal enough to remain relevant. This special survived because it didn't try to be topical or trendy, it aimed for something timeless and actually achieved it. Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964. Rudolph almost joined the vault of disappeared specials. NBC initially viewed it as a one-time broadcast, never imagining the Rankin-Bass production would become an enduring classic. The stop-motion animation was expensive and time-consuming, featuring handmade puppets filmed one frame at a time in a Japanese studio. General Electric sponsored the original broadcast, and the special was designed as a throwaway seasonal promotion, not a cultural landmark. What saved Rudolph was immediate public response. Families loved the misfit story, Burl Ives' narration, and those memorable musical numbers. NBC received thousands of letters requesting rebroadcast, making them realize they had something special. The network kept Rudolph alive through annual airings, each broadcast cementing it deeper in cultural memory. The special worked because it told a genuine outsider story with emotional honesty. Rudolph's rejection by other reindeer, Hermie's desire to be a dentist despite social pressure, and the Island of Misfit Toys all resonated with anyone who'd felt different. The animation style, primitive by modern standards, gave characters warmth and personality that connected with viewers. Unlike topical variety shows, Rudolph's story remained relevant across decades. CBS eventually acquired broadcast rights, continuing annual traditions. The special survived because families made it part of their Christmas rituals, passing it through generations. It's the template for understanding what disappeared. Specials that weren't timeless, weren't demanded for rebroadcast, simply faded away. Frosty the Snowman, 1969. Rankin-Bass struck gold again with Frosty the Snowman, but this special's survival was less guaranteed than you'd think. CBS premiered it in 1969, using traditional Kel animation rather than stop motion, creating a different look from Rudolph. The special adapted the popular song into a story featuring Jimmy Durante as narrator, lending his distinctive voice to what could have been generic children's fare. What nearly killed Frosty was timing. By 1969, networks were flooded with Christmas specials, and many single broadcast shows disappeared into vaults. Frosty survived through strategic rebroadcasting and strong initial ratings that convinced CBS to make it an annual event. The special worked because it captured childhood's bittersweet nature. Frosty's magic is temporary, his goodbye inevitable, making kids experience loss in a safe context. Jackie Vernon's voice work as Frosty gave the character gentle personality that balanced Durante's gruff narration. The villain, Professor Hinkle, provided just enough conflict without being scary. Maintaining that delicate balance, children's programming required musical numbers were catchy without being annoying, rare achievement in children's entertainment. The special's brevity, 30 minutes exactly, made it perfect for annual broadcast without eating too much primetime. CBS kept it in rotation because it paired perfectly with other specials, filling programming blocks. Today it streams alongside Rudolph and Charlie Brown, but dozens of specials from the same era vanished. Frosty survived through luck, timing, and just enough quality to justify continued broadcast. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, 1970. By 1970, Rankin Bass had perfected the Christmas special formula, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town represented their peak achievement. Yet it almost disappeared like so many others. ABC premiered this stop-motion special explaining Santa's origin story, featuring Fred Astaire as narrator S.D. Kluger and Mickey Rooney voicing young Kris Kringle. The production was ambitious, elaborate puppet sets, complex character movements, and musical numbers requiring precise stop-motion choreography. What made it special was the world building. Rankin Bass created entire mythology explaining Santa's red suit, his toy-making operation, even why he enters through chimneys. The story mixed German folklore with American Santa traditions, creating something feeling both ancient and contemporary. Astaire's narration gave the special sophisticated charm. His voice carried weight from decades of entertainment legacy. The villain, Burgermeister Meisterburger, provided memorable conflict without being terrifying, his toy-banning laws driving plot while teaching gentle lessons about authority and kindness. Musical numbers were catchy enough for children, sophisticated enough for adults, featuring arrangements that elevated simple melodies. The special aired annually on ABC for years, but network changes and rights complications nearly ended its broadcast in the 1990s. It survived through home video releases and eventual streaming availability, but dozens of specials from the same Rankin/Bass studio weren't so lucky. This special represents the dividing line, just famous enough, just beloved enough to justify preservation costs. Others fell just short and vanished. Sorry. The Homecoming, A Christmas Story, 1971. Before the Waltons became a television institution, there was The Homecoming, the 1971 Christmas movie that launched the series and nearly disappeared into obscurity. CBS aired this 2-hour special based on Earl Hamner Jr.'s memories of Depression-era Virginia, featuring a different cast than the eventual series. The movie told a simple story. John Boy Walton's father missing on Christmas Eve, the family's anxiety and hope, and the community rallying together during hard times. What made it remarkable was the authentic portrayal of rural poverty during the Depression, showing Christmas celebrations stripped of commercial excess. The production filmed on location in Southern California, doubling for Virginia, creating realistic period atmosphere through careful attention to detail. Worn clothing, sparse decorations, and the physical exhaustion of people working too hard for too little. Patricia Neal starred as the mother, bringing gravitas to a role that could have been sentimental. The special avoided Hollywood glamorization of poverty, showing genuine hardship alongside family love. When the series launched, CBS replaced the movie's cast, creating confusion about continuity. The original movie stopped airing, overshadowed by the series' success for decades. It was nearly impossible to find, not quite obscure enough to be forgotten, not famous enough to justify restoration. Eventually, home video released the movie, but it remains far less known than the series it spawned.
Panouche. Panouche, the brown sugar fudge that separated amateur candy makers from the pros. In the early 1970s, when Harvest Gold appliances dominated kitchens, housewives were mastering this temperamental New England classic. The name came from the Spanish word for raw sugar, brought north through trade routes. You'd melt 2 cups of packed brown sugar with 3/4 cup of heavy cream in a heavy-bottomed pot. The mixture had to reach exactly 238 degrees Fahrenheit, the softball stage, or it would turn grainy. Pull it off too early, and you'd have soup too late, and it became rock candy. Once it hit temperature, you'd beat in butter and vanilla until it lost its gloss. Then pour it into a buttered pan. The result was a creamy, caramel-colored fudge with maple undertones that melted on your tongue. This was the candy grandmothers made to prove they had skills, not just recipes. Chocolate peppermint creams. Chocolate peppermint creams were the sophisticated candy that looked store-bought but tasted homemade. In 1970s, suburbia, these two-tone confections appeared at every holiday party, sitting pretty on doily-lined plates. Grandmothers would start by making a fondant center, powdered sugar mixed with butter, cream, and just enough peppermint extract to make your sinuses clear. They'd roll the mixture into small balls and chill them until firm. The coating process separated the dedicated from the dabbling, melting chocolate in a double boiler to exactly the right temperature so it wouldn't seize or bloom. Each fondant ball got dipped on a fork, tapped to remove excess chocolate, and placed on wax paper to set. The best grandmothers added a tiny peppermint stick on top before the chocolate hardened. These candies combined the cooling sensation of peppermint with rich, dark chocolate, creating a flavor combination that said Christmas louder than any carol. They were elegant, refined, and proved Grandma had patience and steady hands. Seafoam. Seafoam candy looked exactly like its name. Pale green, bubbly, and almost ethereal. This was Divinity's quirky cousin, made with brown sugar instead of white, giving it a subtle caramel flavor and that distinctive seafoam color. In the 1970s, when avocado green dominated kitchen decor, seafoam candy fit right into the aesthetic. The process was nearly identical to Divinity, boiling brown sugar and corn syrup to hardball stage, then beating it into stiff egg whites. But seafoam had a different personality, slightly chewier, with deeper flavor notes from the molasses and the brown sugar. Grandmothers often added chopped pecans or walnuts, and sometimes a few drops of green food coloring to enhance that ocean foam appearance. The candy had a crispy shell that shattered when you bit down, revealing an airy, honeycomb-like interior. It was lighter than fudge, but more substantial than meringue. Making seafoam required the same weather awareness as Divinity, dry days only, and the same timing precision that separated successful batches from sticky failures. Coconut bonbons. Coconut bonbons were the snowball-shaped treats that transported you straight to a tropical Christmas, if such a thing existed in 1970s Ohio. These confections combined shredded coconut with sweetened condensed milk and powdered sugar, creating a mixture that held together like snow, but tasted like paradise. Grandmothers would form the coconut mixture into small balls, sometimes pressing a candied cherry or pecan into the center for surprise. Then came the chocolate coating, melted chocolate chips or candy coating that hardened into a thin shell. The contrast was perfect, crispy chocolate exterior, giving way to moist, sweet coconut that stuck pleasantly to your teeth. Some grandmothers added almond extract to the coconut mixture, while others kept it pure. These candies appeared in paper candy cups, looking professional and bakery-worthy. They were easier to make than most Christmas candies, making them perfect for involving grandchildren in the candy-making process. The coconut provided texture, the chocolate added richness, and the whole package screamed homemade with love in a way that store-bought Mounds bars never could.